Now today we will start with a new chapter, that is molecular basis of inheritance. So this is chapter number 6 in your book. It is molecular basis of inheritance. Now in this chapter we have to study about the DNA, the structure of the DNA in details, the structure of RNAs, the three types of RNAs that we are going to study about, and the central dogma, that is how proteins are formed finally from a DNA molecules. That is from a DNA, RNA will be formed, and from RNA proteins will be formed. So there are various steps, and before all these steps happen, the DNA has to replicate itself. So first we will start, we have to understand the structure of DNA. Class 11 we have already understood the structure of nucleic acid. In very short, in this video we are going to discuss about the structure of nucleic acid. Now nucleic acid, when I am talking about nucleic acid, there are two types. One is the deoxyribonucleic acid and is the ribonucleic acid. You will find out from the book, I am not mentioning here, who was the person who had given the name of DNA, who was the person who had first discovered nucleic acid, and who had given the term nucleic acid. All are different names. I am not wasting time on this. In your notes you have to mention, because sometimes these types of questions are also asked, like who discovered or who gave the term DNA, RNA and nucleic acid. So coming to what we have already studied in class 11, DNA and RNA are the two nucleic acids. Now the basic structure of a nucleic acid, DNA, it is a polymer of nucleotides. Now what is a nucleotide? We have studied nucleotide is actually made up of pentose sugar plus there is a nitrogenous base and there is a phosphate group. So this is a nucleotide, and series of such nucleotides, when they are joined, we get the DNA, that is deoxyribonucleic acid. Now what is the difference between DNA and RNA? The main difference lies in this pentose sugar. We have studied that the pentose sugar in DNA, this is the structure. This is the first carbon, the second carbon, the third and the fourth carbon. And it is the pentose ring, and we have studied about the furanose ring also. And here is with the fifth carbon is the sixth carbon attached as an arm. Now if the functional group, if we have to write, we know that there is H. The carbon atom is HH, this is HOH, and here it is HOH. So this structure is you will find in the ribose sugar. That is, there are two functional groups. One is and the carbon number 2. So this is carbon number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth. So here in the second carbon you can see that second and the third carbon you can see two functional groups. This is in case of ribose. What happens in the deoxyribose? One of the functional group is replaced by a hydrogen. That is, in the second carbon the functional group is replaced by a hydrogen atom. The rest is all similar. So in this case what we are seeing, that there is only one functional group. So this is known as deoxyribose. Now which of them will be stable? The number of functional group. If the number is more, that compound becomes more unstable. So you can see here the ribose, which is having two functional group, is much more unstable compared to the deoxyribose. Coming to the next part, that is the nitrogenous base. We have studied there are two types of nitrogenous base. One is the purine and the other is the pyrimidine. nitrogenous bases are attached with the first carbon atom. So first carbon atom here, so here you will find the nitrogenous bases being attached. Now the pyrimids which are present in DNA are cytosine and thymine, whereas A and G is present both in RNA and DNA. In the RNA, the pyrimidine which is present is cytosine and uracil. So remember this, in the DNA portion you will have, so I'll write here, in DNA the pyrimidine is cytosine and thymine. In RNA, the pyrimidine is cytosine and uracil. Okay. Now these are the nitrogenous bases which are attached with the first carbon. And you know there are these nitrogenous bases are, the purines are dicyclic, these are dicyclic, and pyrimidines are monocyclic. Monocyclic compounds. Now the nitrogen is present here, N is present at position number 1, 3, 7 and 9th position. First, third, 7th and the 9th position. Whereas here nitrogen is present at first and third position. Clear? In this case, the nitrogen is binding with the first carbon and, in DNA it is binding with the first carbon and the 9th carbon. Whereas in RNA it binds with, the purine binds with the first carbon and the 9th carbon, whereas the pyrimidine binds with the first and the third carbon. So this also I have to write here. So carbon number 1 plus the 9th position is found in purine. This is the bonding. Whereas carbon 1 and third position is the bonding of pyrimidine. Clear? Now you know the DNA is a double-stranded structure. One purine is going to bind with the another pyrimidine. What is this? A purine binds with the pyrimidine. So A generally binds with T with a double bond, or it might be U if it is an RNA. C has 3 hydrogen bonds, binds with cytosine, binds with guanine with the help of 3 hydrogen bonds. So this is another thing that you will have to remember. Now coming to the phosphate group, that is the phosphate. What is the phosphate? Phosphate group is a phosphate group looks like this, and this is a phosphate group. Now where is this phosphate group? It is present in the 5th carbon. So here you can see in the R, with this R there is present the phosphate group. Here is present the phosphate group. This is CH2OH. Is it clear? So this was all we had studied in class 11. Now in this class we will discuss about, one more thing I should tell you here. What is the bond present here? This bond is called glycosidic bond, and this bond is known as phosphodiester bond. Okay, so in both the cases it is just the same. So here will be the phosphodiester bond.